Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guest, do you remember when you or a loved one was pregnant? Does it send shivers down your spine? Does it make you want to run for the door and just escape the subject altogether? Maybe you think pregnancy is an intrepid journey. In our culture today, we typically hear more about the horrors of an experience rather than the bliss. And pregnancy is certainly no different. Don't worry, I'm not going to bring up all of these terrors. If you want to hear more about those, you can read the book What to Expect When Expecting. Rather, today, I want to bring attention to some things you maybe don't know. Try and bring your attention away from the terrifying things and point out some of the more terrific ones. First, I will start with hormones and the building of organs. Now, I know that hormones get blamed for a lot of really terrible things during pregnancy, and many of those things are true. But let me start with a little background, and then we'll get to the building of organs part. During a typical menstrual cycle, a follicle in her ovary will release an egg. Now, the follicle's job is not done at this point. It actually needs to continue to make the hormone progesterone. Let's take a look at progesterone. Progesterone. Progest. So it makes sense that this hormone's job is to allow for a pregnancy to be sustained. As a side note, this is one of the major reasons for morning sickness. A woman's body is flooded with hormones, and if she's not able to detoxify them properly, then her body will get nauseous, and she'll have morning sickness. So you might ask, well, what's so great about morning sickness? Nothing. Nothing at all. So actually, we're going to keep that in the terrifying category for pregnancy. So on to the terrific organ-building part of pregnancy. Eventually, the placenta takes over the job of producing the progesterone. Now, women aren't born with a placenta. Actually, during this brief period of time, our bodies are able to create an organ. Think about that. That's remarkable. So that one certainly goes into the terrific category. So, there is another part of pregnancy that many of you may not know about. Pregnant women are shapeshifters. Shapeshifters. Now, to explain what I mean by this, I need to reference another hormone. This hormone is called relaxin. Typically, we think of this hormone as being the one responsible for women being hypermobile and their joints being less stable during pregnancy. What if I told you, however, that this hormone is also responsible for our pelvis being able to change shapes? The front of the pelvis has two bones. They're held together with a ligament. The back of the pelvis has a triangular bone. It's at your lower back. It's called the sacrum. And it's connected to the front of the pelvis with ligaments. During pregnancy, relaxin allows these ligaments to stretch and the joint at the front of the pelvis to widen. The ligaments stretch, allowing the sacrum to open up and allowing easier passage of the baby. I told you, shape-shifting. So interestingly enough, most cultures across the globe allow women to give birth in an upright position so that this sacrum can move out of the way for baby to pass down through the birth canal. This pelvic shape-shifting thing that we have going on is very good news for people like me who were not born with childbearing hips. So the last point I would like to make is on transformation. Pregnancy is obviously a time full of changes. It's when an egg and a sperm become a new life. But it's also about the transformation of a woman, whether it's her first or her 15th child. The little baby that we get to carry around for nearly 10 months is aiding in this transformation. I recently received some advice, and I encourage you to share this with anyone whom you feel comfortable. Before you give birth, take a moment to reflect back, maybe even write a letter. Thank your body and thank your baby for this time that you've had together, for this journey. Thank your body for the miracles it has performed and for the ways that it has supported you and helped you and been perfect in this whole experience. And then take a moment to thank your baby. Thank your baby for the intimate moments that you've only shared. For all the kicks, the jabs, and the punches that were the constant reminder that she was there. Once this child is born, you will have to share her with the rest of the world. And these are the last moments before she becomes her own person and before you become a new person. This time, this pregnancy is sacred. In closing, the next time you're on the street and you pass a pregnant woman, I encourage you to change the way you think of her, the way you think of pregnancy. Try not to think of the terrifying ball of hormones that she probably is, and instead think of her as the terrific, organ-building, shape-shifting, transformative unicorn that she certainly is.
Okay, well, this was an extremely relevant topic, obviously, because Lauren is experiencing what pregnancy is like, and so I thought this was a great way for her to convey what she's going through on a very personal level. As far as the speech value, it's an interesting topic anyway. I think maybe the women know a lot about the technical aspects of the speech, and the guys are kind of like, oh, so that's how it works? We don't, we're not as in tune with what's going on. But I thought the topic was highly relevant and personal, which I think made it a good topic selection for you. And you open with from terrifying to terrific, so you're covering a broad range of emotions here. The terrifying aspect, but also the terrific aspect. So the duality I thought was good. In the body of your speech, you mentioned a lot about the physiology involved. I thought maybe some slides, just a few very basic slides, because you're explaining things clearly, but it is at the same time a technical speech that maybe some slides could have helped. That's just my opinion. And during the conclusion, you said, well, thank the body, thank the baby, and notice a pregnant woman that you might see on the street, which brings it back around to I think the terrific aspect. So you start off with the terrific aspect, then you get into a bit of the hormones and physiology, biology that you were explaining, but then you come back out and you explain what's very positive about it, obviously. I think it would be great for you to do a follow-up speech on the topic once your child is born. I'm not saying what particular topic, but something relevant to that I think would be extremely relevant.
She'll be too terrified.
Right, and you can go back to, well, in speech 2 I said this.
Or too in love, either one.
Simple slides.
A follow-up speech on this topic I think might be good at some point down the road, but that's later. Overall, a technical speech for the most part, but it was very understandable, a complex topic that I thought you simplified well enough for the audience to grasp not only the logic, the technical part, but the emotional side of it, which is the subjective side, which is what you're going through. So overall, very well done. Congratulations and good luck. Thank you.